Hello everyone. Hope you guys are doing really well. All right, so today we're going to be discussing about, the recent news which came out from India, and as we have discussed in our outlook for 2020, that India is looking much more carefully into digital assets. All right, so in this case, Bitcoin and Ethereum futures ETFs, they're going to be coming to India. Okay, it's not sure yet, but there is this exchange who like exchange India INX. They have applied for like permissions to go ahead and introduce this into the market. Why? Why are they doing this? Because two things. Okay, either there is like a lot of demand for digital assets and especially Bitcoin and Ethereum because it's much more liquid, And second thing is like India has launched their ICF 15, the index fund for digital assets, the top 15 cryptocurrencies in the market cap. And the third thing is it could just be they could just be trying to manipulate the whole market, of Bitcoin, the spot market itself. All right, so this three could be the reason. And also like there are some geopolitical things to consider, taking since it's coming from India. I mean, most of the people, and not people, I would say, like, the regulators in India, they tend to follow or they just tend to copy and paste what the US or what the EU is doing. All right. They think like, that's their perception. It's not my perception. Okay. That's what they think, because they don't have good, innovative ideas, the regulators who are in office right now, to put it simply. Okay. So the thing is, like, so basically, Ethereum and Bitcoin ETF like has been here like for a long time, all right, in US and EU. But the thing is, India is trying to see like, hey, okay, so the US and the EU they have ETFs, all of this, we should also do it, and that is the exact reason why they are doing it, and they are going to approve this. But it's good. It's good for like, people getting exposure to the asset or something. But futures ETF, okay, futures ETF is like, what is it? It's like a contract between a person and a buyer and a seller, like a paper contract, and they just speculate on the price of Bitcoin, and it's not backed by original like actual Bitcoin, so for me, there's not a lot of value, but it's of course it's positive because these news tend to go into the traditional media and TV, and people hear the names of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I would consider it's a positive publicity or positive PR for digital assets in general. That is good. The other side is like people keep talking about like, hey, India is going to ban it. We have heard this like so many times, like, and I always kept telling, man, India is never going to miss the boat for this digital assets. They are not going to miss the boat. The finance minister, she's very optimistic on this, and she's a forward thinker. Okay, I would say she's one of the most understanding people who actually who has some good comments or good thoughts, like educated thoughts around digital assets. And also she's looking like, hey, these millennials and this Gen Z, these guys are already digital native. They don't want to buy gold or silver and this and that and all these stuff. They want everything what is digital. Okay, it's much more valuable and so on and so forth. So she's very optimistic, and when she came into office, like, things started to change. Things started to change. So what I'm thinking, what I'm forecasting is that India could be one of that main country that the whole digital assets ecosystem needs. Why? Because it's such a it's a big country, all right, in terms of like just number of people. And the second thing is India skipped the whole credit card sort of a generation. They went from directly cash, physical cash, to directly, like, mobile payments, like using fintech. People in India, they always use all these technology, and they're, everyone over there, they just use their mobiles to pay for stuff. They don't use credit cards and all that stuff. And also, the other thing is, India has this culture of where, like, it comes from generations where they acquire like hard assets, like, gold, silver, diamonds, and all of those stones and precious stones, which are like very valuable. But these people, their children, these people, their children will be like, hey, I'm gonna just ditch this gold, or maybe I'm just gonna keep it, but, like, they have additional wealth even to go ahead and acquire like actual Bitcoin. So what I would say is like, hey, look, it's positive that they're getting this futures ETF, but it's not beneficial for the regular people. Okay, it's beneficial for the hedge funds or wealth managers and so on and so forth. Okay, as a whole, okay, India's still taking a position in this. And what do you think the next move is going to be in this in India? Man, their central bank is going to adopt digital currencies. They are going to put Bitcoin on their treasury. They are going to hold it. Why? Because what if you measure Indian rupees in terms of like Bitcoin, you will see the chart. Like, you will actually see the chart, like how it is. Like, it's because Indian rupees has been inflating. All the fiat currencies has been inflating. Even the US dollar is inflating against Bitcoin. They are losing value. They're losing purchasing power against like all these digital assets, especially Bitcoin. Okay, so there's a lot of things happening. But what I wanted to say is like this is very positive, and it's good for India probably, but not as a whole, not for the general people, but for the big asset managers. But yeah, but anyways, let's see how this goes, and it will be approved for sure. Like, most probably, most likely, but anyways, as we mentioned, you remember, if you watched the forecast for 2020 video, you must have heard my explanation on this. So this is the IC15 index, okay, 15 cryptocurrency index. That's what they're calling it, 15. So that means the top 50 top 15 currencies in the market cap, let's say, I don't know, whatever list they have, except stable coins, they're going to be monitoring them, and they're going to provide like there's a different group who will provide like education and guidance and risk. What are the risk? And they will do all the research, and every quarter they will update this 15 cryptocurrency list. All right, so basically this is very good, because they're now the new people, the new investors, like regular people who want to actually come and get some information. Maybe they don't want to go to Twitter and, like, find the information themselves, or on Reddit, or like maybe on social media, or just maybe do their research in general, read about it. They will go up to all these bodies, like all these index bodies, and they will go to their website and they will educate, because for them it would be like, hey, this is much more reliable information. But trust me, these IC15 regulators, they are not they are not smart, or like they are not fast enough like you and I, all right, who are in crypto every day, reading about it, understanding, and you've been here, we are well informed than them. So their news is always late news, all right, but the people will still get the news from them and think it's much more reliable and all that. But anyways, you get the idea. It's very positive. This one is very positive for like the local people who actually want to go ahead and invest in some cryptocurrencies by making some good educated decision. It's good to have crypto and digital assets in your portfolio, because it's a high growth industry, and this will keep on growing. It doesn't matter like if the market is down today or tomorrow or maybe in a month or so. It just depends on like how like what is your investment time frame, okay? How long are you willing to invest, and like what is your plan, okay? So that is the thing, some people acquire it to, just they just keep acquiring, doesn't matter, so, and they will transfer it to to their kids or to whoever they want, and it's just a generational thing. It's just like acquiring gold sort of a thing, all right? But anyways, so this is very positive. Futures ETF copying in the US, and but anyways, let's talk about this. All right, I found this article from Fidelity Digital Assets. As you know, they are one of the biggest wealth managers in coming out from the US, and they have like multiple clients across like the world. And their report, which came out recently, just a week ago, and I found this, and as you see, I'm just going to read it out like verbatim, okay, so that so that you understand. And it's very simple, okay. So we also think there is a very high stake game theory at play here, whereby if Bitcoin adoption increases, the countries that secure some Bitcoin today will be better off competitively than their peers. Therefore, even if other countries do not believe in the investment thesis or adoption of Bitcoin, they will be forced to acquire some as a form of insurance. In other words, a small cost can be paid today as a hedge compared to a potentially much larger cost years in the future. We therefore wouldn't be surprised to see that other sovereign nation states acquire Bitcoin in 2022 and perhaps even see a central bank make an acquisition. Okay, so like it's very, very clear, okay? Not just these guys, like you, if you're in crypto, you know that this is going to happen. We have seen El Salvador buy, we have seen other countries from South America and Eastern Europe, like Ukraine, they're like speaking about it, and like the countries in Russia, like there's a lot of conversations going on around the petro Bitcoin, like they're going to be doing the trades, from Iran and like Russia and all that. They'll be doing trades in Bitcoin because Bitcoin, there's no counterparty risk. Okay, so it's like you cannot censor Bitcoin. All right, so it's equal for everyone. So that is the game theory. That's like, I mean, that is one aspect of the game theory, but like, I mean, yeah. So nation states will keep acquiring Bitcoin, and I mean, as they mentioned over here, they will be forced to acquire some as an insurance. Insurance against what? Inflation, against fiat currency inflation. Okay, fiat currency devaluation. Okay, like so the thing is, there's no point keeping your money in like your checking account, because your checking account right now is like, I mean, your savings account is right now your checking account. Okay, so I mean, it's like you hardly keep some funds over there. Like, you just keep some for your operational cost and all that stuff, and rest you deploy it into the market. I'm not telling you do that, but like that's the way I roll, but yeah, like yeah, the investment thesis of adoption of Bitcoin to acquire some as a form of insurance, and it's a small cost to pay today, because like that's what I mentioned about the timeline. How long are you willing to be in this market, or what's your plan, what's your strategy? Because thinking in terms of Bitcoin is a psychological change, not just a psychological change, a behavioral change, and also how you actually look at the world. Your perception changes. So it's always like people say, hey, Bitcoin too expensive, man, just acquire whatever you can afford. Okay, don't you know what to do. All right, don't put your operational funds or your some emergency funds into Bitcoin, because you might need it. But apart from that, like, just create a strategy like 50-30-20. That's what I do. 50% operational, 30% emergency, 20% invest. All right, but like, yeah, I'm I'm looking to go way higher than that plan right now. But yeah, so everyone should get some Bitcoin. It is very valuable. And do you think, like, do you also, another thing to touch on, coming to the Asian news of Bitcoin, people like China, these guys, do you think, like, they've been mining Bitcoin funded by the government for years? Do you think that their central bank don't have Bitcoin? Do you really believe that? Man, Chinese people are far clever. They're far clever. They're fucking fooling everybody. Okay, why did they, had to chase out all the miners from China? Because there's electricity issues. Okay, so Bitcoin mining and all of this, it's energy intensive. So there's a there's a there's a less energy right now in China. There's a deficit of energy right now, so they're trying to save as much as energy as they can for their own people and for their own businesses. So that's why they had to temporarily move this Bitcoin mining outside China, and Kazakhstan. Who do you think Kazakhstan are friends with or allies with, let's say? China, China, what they like. I mean, it's a geopolitical thing, man. So Chinese, the central bank, they have Bitcoin. I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure. Trust me on that. And do you think they're going to ever announce it? They're not going to announce it because why would they announce it? Do you think they bought Bitcoin when it was like 40,000? No, way back. They've been mining for years when Bitcoin was like maybe $200 or maybe even more. And still, right now, there are news, like my girlfriend, she's from China, okay? So she gives me like all these insider news from the state itself, okay? So she tells me like, hey, even though Bitcoin mining is banned over there, people still mine Bitcoin. People still mine Bitcoin. Okay, so there are still all these places, and this is very common. If you come from Asia, you know what I'm talking about. Do you think like everyone follows the government? People don't do shit like people don't do all that stuff behind. They do it. And they can do it very easily. So it's very easy. Nobody's stopping them. So there's a lot of things to understand, but everything is it's moving in the right direction, but yeah, and it will keep on going in the right direction. There's no stopping this train. It's just like internet. It'll grow faster than internet, and countries like India and China and Russia, all these countries will take a position in that sooner or later. Like to mention over here, it's it's a small cost to pay today and to hedge yourself to pay a much larger cost in the years to come. Why are they saying this? They are looking at the inflows coming into their funds. They are the biggest wealth managers in the world. Okay, so they know how much money is coming into this industry, and especially to Bitcoin. And this is going to kick in so fast. Like, what if once it happens? If just imagine if India comes out maybe in a year or two and announces, "Hey, we have Bitcoin. Our central bank acquired Bitcoin in their treasury. We are holding Bitcoin as a reserve asset." Do you know what's going to happen? That time, you and I will not have time to even place an order. It'll be gone. It'll be gone. These guys are going to take it because they have more capital than us. Acquire it when the market you know, is in red, when it's in red. Don't like I wouldn't buy when candles are green. I never do that. I did that when I entered back in 2017. I learned my mistakes, all right? So you look at some of the charts, just try to understand the macro thing, what's going on, and try to think, okay, it's still cheap, you know? So like we don't know what is the fair value of Bitcoin, that's the market decides. Currently it's around $42,000 US dollars. It's okay, it's okay, it's still cheap. You will see in the next 4 years to come, in the next 4 years, you see what the price is going to be. You know, what do you think people working day and night in this Web3 and digital asset industry, what do you think they're working for? They're working to protect their family and they're working to acquire as much as digital assets they can. Okay? It doesn't go to a bank account. Do you think it goes to a bank account? Think again. Ask yourself, okay, if you're in crypto, do you keep like a lot of funds in your bank account? Do you trust your bank, first of all? Do you trust regulators? Do you trust even governments in the first place? Exactly. You got the answer. Okay. I'm not trying to say they're bad or something. It's just a matter of education. When they're educated, when they see the value of all these assets and what it can bring to the prosperity to their country, and where they can position their country in the future, that is the key. That's when, and India will do this. India will do this. Okay. So you just keep watching. And when you hear a news, India is going to ban cryptocurrency, remember this. Come back and watch this fucking episode. Okay. And when India is going to adopt cryptocurrency in the central bank, come and watch this, like digital assets. Okay. Digital assets. Cryptocurrency, no. Digital assets. All right. All right. Have a nice day, guys. And we'll see you when I see you. All right. Bye now.